In this video, I want to show you how to review your clips and prepare them for the edit. So let me dive into my stack of bins here. I'm going to hold the command key, or you can hold the control if you're on a PC. And I'll just pick the Morning Rockefeller bin. Now I'm going to hit the tilde key and maximize my frame. So now I have the entire contents of that bin in a full window. And I'm going to go ahead and switch to the icon view so I can see my clips. Now you can see if I scroll up and down, you see all my thumbnails start to build. One thing I love about Adobe Premiere is the fact that I can hover scrub over my thumbnails, and I can make in and out points by just hovering over and hit the I key and then hit the O key. And now I've made an in and out point on my thumbnail. So let me scroll back, I, scroll forward, O. I can also click on the thumbnail and you can see the mini timeline. So another way I can review my clip is actually clicking, holding, and dragging. And I can once again hit the I key and hit the O key. Make that a little bit longer. I can click back to where my endpoint is and hit the play button or space bar. Maybe I want to change my out point. I'll hit the O key again. And as you can see, my duration changed. Now my duration that I have marked is 5 seconds and 16 frames. So if I wanted to move to another clip, I can just hover scrub and simply hit I, O. I, O. So it's that easy to review your clips. Also, if you do click on one of your clips in here one time, you get the mini timeline. You can also use the J, the K, and the L keys to review your clips. Play backwards with the J, pause with the K, play forwards with the L. I'm going to hit the tilde key again because I want to work inside of my source panel. So let me pick a clip. I'll just try this first clip right here. You can double click it to load it in the source monitor, or right click, open in source monitor, or you can even grab clips and drag them and drop them right on the source monitor. And you can see they even keep the in and out points that we've made. So in and out points are important because if you were to cut this entire video into your sequence, there'd be a lot of blading, and you would have to cut just to make a simple edit. So let me just prove my point here real quick. I'm going to clear these in and out points. The keyboard shortcut Option and X. And I'm just going to drag this in. And let's say I wanted to show just the laugh. I would have to grab the blade tool, cut, hit the play, stop the play, cut. Then, if I wanted nothing else, switch back to my selection tool, highlight this area, hit delete, highlight this area, hit delete. That was a lot of steps. So it's much easier to get inside of your source monitor, find the part you want, mark your clip with in and out. And you can also change these as much as you like. As you can see, I just keep hitting the O key and it changes. So now if I were to drag that clip in, it would be at the same size. So let me just delete these two. let's get back to the source monitor. So after I've loaded a clip in and I find that I want this clip and I'm happy with what I got, so I can use JKNL. She laughs, she turns, out. Go back, and right there, it's fine. So looking at the map, looks at it, laughs, turns, out. Now, let's say I wanted to move on to another clip, or even better, I can mark several clips, one after another. You do that by simply click, 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 and I'm holding the shift key here. And that's enough. I have selected, as you can see, I've selected 12 clips out of 51. So I'll just right click, open in source monitor. Now I've opened 12 clips inside of my source monitor. Now I can navigate through these clips, marking in, marking out, and move on to the next clip. Click right here in this drop down and move on to the next clip. And you can see this clip is already marked. This one is not. So I can quickly mark out a section, jump up my stack of clips here. And as you can see, in and out points stick. So as you mark in and then mark out, you can use the I for in and the O for out. Or you can use the buttons right here. This would be mark in, and to the right of that is mark out. I think if you look down at your keyboard, right above the JK and L is the I and the O. So that keeps everything central on your keyboard. So try to get comfortable with the JK and L, the I, and the O. Let me just show you something else you can do. I will go back to my project panel, hit the tilde key to maximize my frame, and then I'm going to jump into list view. And you can see everything I've highlighted is still highlighted, even though I switched views. I'm going to go click this little folder up icon and go back into my bin of bins. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to load all the Subway clips into my source monitor. Let me hit the tilde key, get out of maximum frame. I can just right click, open in source monitor, or drag the whole bin over and drop it on the source monitor. Now it takes a little bit of time to process, but once it does, now you can see I've added a number of clips to the stack that I've already had loaded. And now when I click close all, I've zeroed out all of my recent clips. Then grab your Subway bin and drop it on. And now this is only the Subway clips. So let me show you one other thing. Let me go back and open up a clip real quick. Just drag this in here. And click right about here. Okay, so if I zoom in, you'll notice that this little bar right here gets shorter. That means I'm zoomed in almost to the frame level. And you can drag this out if you want with your mouse. By clicking, holding, and dragging, you'll see your work area bar is growing. And you'll see your current time indicator start to move. So this is just basically showing you how much media handle you have on either side. So if I were to mark it in here and marking out here, and then I zoom in, now you can kind of see, now I'm almost at the frame level here. So if I zoom out, we'll see how small. I've actually marked out about 2 seconds and 7 frames. So let me zoom out. And now you can see that 2 seconds is only this much of the rest of my clip. So I'm completely zoomed out. As you can see, this bar doesn't move anymore. But if I zoomed in, you'd see there's these little 3 little tick marks in the middle of that bar. You can click, hold, and drag them to the left, to the right, back over to the left again. And I can zoom in, zoom out. That's just using the plus and minus keys to zoom in and zoom out of your work area bar. Now, media handle is basically all this left over on either side of your in and out points. So if you're wondering, if you want to remark a clip, you cannot mark a clip with 2 out points. You cannot mark a clip with 2 in points. But you can constantly overwrite. And if you were to edit that piece in, then you can go over here, find another piece later, hit in, hit out, and you can edit this piece in your timeline. So you can edit multiple in and out points, just not at the same time. So don't feel like you have to delete your in and out points. You can simply always just hit I until you feel like that's where you want your in and out to be. And then I'll hit O. If you really want to clear your in and out points, you can hold Option or Alt on a PC and hit the X, and this clears your in and out point. So once again, I'll mark an in, or I'll mark an in here, then I'll mark an out here. Then I'll hold Option or Alt on a PC and hit the X. And that clears my in and out points. So if you mark in and you mark out, and then you put this 5 seconds and 16 frames into my timeline, let me just hit the tilde key. And I'll zoom in. And if I wanted to at any point, I could grab the end of it, and I still have access to all the media handle that's outside of those in and out points. So just so you know, you have access to the full clip in the timeline, even after you mark in and out points. And those are called your media handles. As you can see, reviewing your clips is very important. You can also save yourself a lot of time by marking in and out before bringing in any of your clips to your timeline. So make sure that you spend a little bit of time reviewing your clips, marking them before you edit them into any sequence. So we've learned about opening a single or multiple clips in your source monitor. Also, you've learned about your playback controls using the J, K, and L keys, marking your in and outs using your I, O keys, or the buttons. Using the work area zoom, we were able to see how much media handle we actually had on each clip. The media handles are available in our timeline even after we mark our in and outs and make the edit. And of course, one of my favorites is using the tilde key to maximize any frame we have on the screen.